This is Akko.
And this is Tamo for the Akko and Tamo podcast, a podcast dedicated to parenting where we explore new perspectives
And share ideas on how to love yourself, love your partner, and shower your children with love.
This is episode 62.
And the topic of the day is family updates. Staying healthy and happy with small changes. And before we get started, please take a quick moment to subscribe to our show. Now let's get back to our recent happenings. So recently, we've been noticing that our children are spending a lot more time playing together and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, so for context, our son is 2 years old and our daughter is 4 years old. And yeah, they've been playing really well together. It's nice to see they're really enjoying each other's company and getting creative with how they play. And it's really a joy to see.
Oh yeah, giggling, and sometimes I don't even understand why they're laughing, but they are laughing, like both. So it's really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And so hopefully that continues on, and as they grow, continue to build their relationship and love for each other. So the topic of the day is family updates, staying healthy and happy with small changes. So today we're going to take a slightly different route in how we deliver our podcast. And that's going to be me pretty much updating Akko with what I've been up to. We do see each other on a daily basis and we get to experience life, most of it together, with the busyness of raising children, work, and every so often it's really nice to update each other with what's been happening. So we're going to be doing that in real time. With that said, I'm going to just get started with the two main updates that I wanted to share with Akko. One is making improvements to my physical health. So I'm in my early 40s, and although I don't really feel that much older, I know that I need to take care of myself. I see a little bit more gray hairs and just the energy. I can tell that it's a little lower than it used to be. So I've been interested in making those improvements for myself. It happens a lot through exercise and sleep and things like that. And mainly what sparked this even more to the point that I began taking action is through one of the documentaries that I shot most recently. It was a chiropractor, and he is sharing red light therapy and vagal nerve stimulation and things like that. I've always been interested. I don't consider myself a biohacker, but I really enjoy these topics. And so I started to go down the rabbit hole a bit and I came across a person named Brian Johnson. And he is a person that is experimenting on himself to slow and reverse aging. And he's been sharing all the information on his website for free. So he's a person that had built up a really successful business in the past and exited with, I believe, $300 million. And with that money, he's using that to find out what slows and hopefully reverses the aging process. And although there are critics that think he's crazy, I think that these type of experiments, these type of work, we'll look back on it and we'll see the value of it in the future. So the work that he's been doing, I've been very inspired by. And the things that I've been doing is improving sleep. That's been a real big thing. Getting to sleep at a certain time and stay consistent with my sleep schedule. So every day I'm quite consistent when I go to bed, and then little by little I'm trying to make it a little earlier every single day so that I can get to bed early and then wake up a little earlier. And I also been increasing my physical activity too. As Akko knows, I'm into jiu-jitsu, and so I've been going a little bit more often, and it's a real full body workout, so that's been good. And then also supplementing it with stretching at home. And I've been experimenting with my supplement stack. That's something I enjoy. So I've been taking omega-3 and then multivitamins as usual, vitamin D. And I've been working on increasing my vitamin D levels because our blood work last time, it didn't show that it was high enough. So I'm trying to get that a little higher. Now creatine, I started that pretty recently for kind of brain and muscle health and to improve power output. And then lutein and zeaxanthin for my eye health. And then also turmeric to lower inflammation. So I've been taking those along with a few other ones that I'm still testing out, seeing how it works out. Something like nutritional yeast, I've been taking those pills. And then with that, I've been feeling more energy, a little bit more clarity in the mind. I think I would like to see a little bit more clarity, but I think maybe with time and better sleep and exercise, those should be coming. And also the reason I'm interested in all these things is because I want to stay active and vibrant for our family as we age. We're seeing how much energy raising children take, and I'm not getting any younger. And so I definitely want to continue to work on my physical health, mental clarity, and just the overall vibrancy in my being so that we can be the best for our children. So that's why I've been focused on this. I've also mentioned a sleep stack in a previous episode of the podcast. I talked about taking magnesium threonate, L-theanine, and apigenin. I tested it out. It didn't work at all. It actually did the opposite. So that was a fail. When I took those things, I couldn't even get to sleep. I would toss and turn for hours, and it was horrible. And so I thought it was just maybe this one time. I tried it again, same exact thing, and it just wasn't worth trying because it just didn't work out for my body. And so with that said, I've been looking into different type of blood work. This is the type of blood work that isn't covered in just your regular doctor visit. And I want to go beyond what conventional health says is healthy. I want to be vibrant. I want to feel healthy, not just, okay, these common tests says that I'm in range. Instead, I want to look more forward into the different types of blood work and just these health modalities so that we can incorporate that into our life based on the best of science we have right now. And with that said, I would love for both of us to get a baseline blood work of our biological age compared to our chronological age, and then being inspired to make changes to improve that. I've been looking into getting that blood work, but unfortunately, it's looking specifically with the company that I was looking at. They don't ship these test kits to Hawaii, and we wouldn't be able to get that type of blood work. So maybe when we fly back, we would need to do so then. So that's unfortunate, but that's what it was showing. And with that said, concluding with the health part, second major shift that I've been having is, it's been quite recent. Nothing is really solid right now, but I feel the shift. The change is quite apparent. And that's, I think, coming about from the physical and the spiritual work that I've been continuing to do. And just to let you know, April is meditation challenge month for me.
Okay, another one.
So, yep, I'll be putting in more time for meditation then. And in the past episodes, as parents, we've been sharing how difficult parenting can be, right? And I really feel that I hit a wall of suffering. And I just became really tired of always feeling frustrated with parenting and just not having energy, just feeling disappointed. And I think it was like a dark time for me in terms of parenting. It just wasn't feeling that good for me. And I think that's also an important part to talk about, because when you listen to a lot of parenting advice or whatnot, they go, oh, how awesome it is, how fun it is, and things like that. Yes, that is true. But when you're beat down by the stresses of life, plus the energy expenditure of parenting, it easily becomes that's not the case. For me, I just hit a wall. I was suffering, and I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired and frustrated.
Yeah.
And so I think naturally this shift started to happen where now I started to loosen up a lot more and began like relaxing more internally when I'm with the kids, and pretty much more so letting go, continuing to let go of how things should be. So like letting go of the things that I was brought up with. And a lot of times these things, it's quite hard to know because that's one of your core beliefs if you're not aware enough.
Oh yeah, you're like hardwired into thinking that way.
Because that's how I was raised. And so letting go of those things and trying to become more and more aware through meditation, through taking an extra when things are triggering, and then staying flexible, and then really being with what is. And what I mean by being with what is, being with that situation, whatever situation it is. Maybe our children spilled water all over the place. And of course, it shouldn't be like that. That's not what it should be, but it is. That's what it is. And being okay with that. Okay, water was spilled, and now what do we do? It doesn't have to be a frustrating experience. It can also be a moment-to-moment experience. And it also benefits our children because they get to see how we respond to certain situations, and then they can learn from that. And so that's something that I've been focused on, at least internally, Now I think it's actually starting to show externally too, but internally I feel quite different than I did maybe even 3 weeks ago, a month ago. I'm very excited about that. And also I noticed that because I've been making these shifts internally, it's really showing up externally where I'm seeing that the response that I get from our children, it's different.
Yeah, I have to say, yeah, it's a little lighter in the household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy of frustration is dissipating quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to say, I don't know why it just popped into my head, but a part of it might be because we naturally just stopped using the screen. Kind of a natural thing. It wasn't like we were gonna not do screen time or anything. It would just naturally happened, and we just started to, not that we were not introducing books before. We just went on a library run, and I don't know, from then on something clicked in our kids and they just haven't really asked for it.
Yeah. So usually what was happening is in the afternoon, our son would take a nap, and then during that time, our daughter would have a little bit of screen time. But now, and she was actually habitualized to that.
Yeah.
So she would always ask for the screen when our son went to take a nap. But now she doesn't even ask for it.
No, yeah, she just reads her book or she just does her own thing.
And I also tried to give her a lot more quality attention during that time too. If I have work, sometimes I might just sit next to her and do some work, or just not even work, but sit next to her and just read a book to her or just play with her too. So that's, I think, been really...
I think she really enjoys that.
Yeah. I see definite improvement in not only the relationship, but just the overall energy within the household.
100%.
Yeah. And it's really nice because we're always working to improve our relationship with our children. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easier, but taking steps one by one, and sometimes we'll step in mud and we pull that out and then wash up and then go forward, right? There are times that I think that's what's happening. So what's happening is the method that I was using, the internal state that I was bringing out, the type of energy that I was emanating it wasn't working. And so through these changes of mindset, getting more sleep, giving attention to improving the physical alongside with the spiritual work, the mindset work, I think those are all coming together. I don't think it's just one thing, but all these different areas coming together in order to bring about changes, at least for myself. And then it's so nice to see that the changes that I've been making for myself, it actually comes out and I'm able to share that with the family.
Yeah.
And so by being flexible and being aware of my inner state, I've been able to feel into the needs of each of our children and having a custom, bespoke approach to each child. So not having just blanket rule for everyone, but instead there are times that we have to be a lot more flexible or approach in a different way. And so I feel that that's been happening a lot more because my inner state is a lot more clear. It's more peaceful within me. For that reason, I feel that I'm able to stay calm enough to feel the energy of our children so that, again, I can custom tailor how I respond to their needs.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point. All the kids are not one size fits all, but some kids actually need to be treated differently and different approaches so that it can be tailored towards how they are and how their temperament is. And so that's a really good point that you made, Tamo.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of these things are subtle. And that's why at times it feels difficult because if I'm in a state of frustration or just agitation, I'm not calm enough internally to be able to be sensitive enough to feel into what our children are feeling or even give space to understand why a certain thing has happened, right? So maybe a water spill could have happened because something else, maybe she tripped and spilled water, right? It was complete accident. Whereas if I'm in a more constricted, smaller space within, then I only see that the water was spilled. And again, constricted thinking is, okay, water should not be spilled. And then goes into frustration because it's not what I was expecting. By becoming more open inside, I feel like I've been able to see the bigger context of something. So for example, again, the water situation maybe she tripped and fell, spilled the water. And then if I wasn't there to witness that, I can always ask her, okay, without even getting frustrated, just say, oh, it looks like the water spilled. What happened? And then give an opportunity for our children to give their perspective on what happened. And then we can resolve the situation from there. And I'm feeling that this method of parenting, I'm really liking right now. And as we talked about in previous podcasts, we talked about the Kaizen principle, continuing to improve our own parenting. And I'm personally really seeing that within my own parenting and my own life. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for what the future holds.
And yeah, and I am too. And the lighter energy in the household it's always a plus, right? Your kids are happier. I'm happier. Everyone's happier. And the same goes for me too. So I have to make sure that I feel a little lighter inside as well. And we both have to be in this great state of mind for our kids so that they can feel that lighter energy and they don't have to really deal with our energy.
Because it's not the children's job to regulate or process our issues, right? And so we as parents, we are helping them learn about how to process emotions and things like that. So it's our duty and responsibility to help them.
Yeah.
And so I think, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then we're starting to eat a little healthier. Morning oatmeal, salad, like kale salad without any dressing. And so, yeah, I feel like it's going towards a good direction.
And for me, that's where it's at. It's making these improvements a little by little. And sometimes we step back, but always have a positive attitude and be willing to move forward again, just getting back up. You fall 7 times and get back up 8. That type of a mentality where we're always moving forward in our own growth, even though we have days that we may step back. And I've definitely been feeling that. And yeah, things feel positive and hope that, this is just the start of something good for the future.
Yeah. I feel really hopeful. And hopefully we can just keep each other on check and be each other's accountability partners as we are always. And so, yeah, thanks for the update, Tamo.
Yeah, 100%.
And so if you think this episode is helpful for other parents, please share it. And if you haven't, please take a quick moment to subscribe to our show. And the question of the day is, what updates do you have that you want to share with us?
We'd love to hear from you. Please come say hi by commenting on our website by going to akkoandtamo.com, and please come say hi to us there. All right, take care.
Bye.